There you go.
All right. Welcome to the San Juan County Charter Review Governance Committee, March 11th, 2021 from 7 to 8 p.m. We will, I'll take the attendance right now. Janet Burnell.
Present.
Jane Fuller.
Present.
Sharon Abreu.
Present.
Okay. Olivia Roseberry.
Here.
Cool. And this is Dave Anderson. We just had Richard Grout a second ago, and he's hopefully going to join us quickly before we get too deep into our meeting.
Oh, wait, I just got a text from him.
Okay.
Oops, hold on. I'm having connection problems. I'm having connection problems. Tell Dave not to wait for me. Little does he know, we didn't.
Okay. Good. But the first question, I have a first question on the agenda. If you saw in reading and roll call, where were you born? I am super curious about where you were born, and just maybe a comment, but I'd love to hear. Janet.
I was born in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
And I mean like LA, not Pacific Palisades or, I mean
Okay.
like almost downtown LA.
Okay. Interesting. You never can tell. Jane.
I was born in the Bronx in New York.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. Which is where my mama and dada first started dating in the mid 50s. And the family eventually moved in 72 to Canada. And, but because my mother and father were both US citizens and, you know, grew up in the United States, there was always that, there was always that connection. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I would have never have guessed that. Sharon.
If you heard my foul language, you would, but never mind.
Oh,
That's my
okay.
father's fault. Okay.
Is that like a genetic thing or something that comes with Bronx? Yeah. Sharon.
I am a Queens, New York baby.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Bayside, Queens.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. We have two New Yorkers, or at least two New Yorkers on here. Olivia.
Mount Vernon, Washington, and
Mount
shuttled
Vernon.
home via ferry right after.
Okay. Cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Cool. I was born in Tacoma, Washington.
Yay, cool.
Yeah. Represent. So I'm really curious where the other three guys were born. I have no idea about Tony or any of them. So
Tony, I think, was born in Lebanon. And then, but
Uh-huh.
his parents lived in different parts of Africa. So he has a really interesting story.
yeah.
Cool.
Cool. We'll have to ask him. And Richard and David, I'm not sure where they're stem from, but anyways, well, thank you. That was awesome. I like these questions. I think I find they're a little interesting. Hope it's okay with you. Have we had a chance to read the minutes that David wrote up? And have we have any comments about the minutes, or is there any corrections that we would like to have made?
I think you call for the question. I move that we approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Okay. Is there a move? Yeah, you moved it. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Now there's discussion.
Oh, now there's discussion. Okay. Thank you, Janet.
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
I read them and I'm supportive. I thought they were well done and I appreciate David doing them for us. He deserves a thank you for sure. Yeah, they were good. Yep.
Yeah, I think so. He took it seriously. I think, and I really appreciate how conscious he did it. Okay. Shannon, is there any other discussion about the minutes? Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes for March 3rd? Oh, say aye.
Oh, Mark. Aye.
Hi.
Okay.
And I think it was the 4th.
I'm 4th. Okay.
Right. 7 days ago. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Now I just lost my agenda. Okay. So we're continuing with the discussion of the issues on our list is kind of what I was thinking, mostly what we do today. But there is Kevin did ask us last night to submit some questions and to come up with some questions about what we'd like to hear the people talk about the town meeting. And Jane suggested we wait till today, which was great because it was late and I was about to type them up, the ones I had, and I think that I'm glad that we're gonna come together and talk about what questions we really want to hear people talk about. But before we get there, Richard's here with us. Thank you, Richard, for joining us. We have a question for you, quick. Question for you is, where were you born?
You're muted.
Muted. We have two New Yorkers with us.
Yo.
What are you gonna
I
do about
was-
that? What are you gonna do about that, huh?
I was born close to New York.
Ooh, doesn't cut it. Where's that? Where's that?
Yes.
New Jersey?
Hey, Massachusetts.
That's all right. Where? Where in Massachusetts? You have to be more specific.
Springfield.
Ooh, cool.
I'm sorry, where?
Springfield,
Springfield,
nice town.
home of the Basketball Hall of Fame and not much else.
Great. Cool. Well,
So
thank you.
Dave,
For yeah.
I was going to say, I think what Kevin was looking for was things that we are looking at that I don't know if he wanted questions from us, but things we were looking at in this committee that we might mention to the public at large. That was my take on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was definitely mine as well. I was gonna, thank you, Janet. I was gonna say that. And I think Sharon may want to add her 2 cents on this based on the discussion we just had in the election committee about this a couple hours ago. But just as Janet said, my takeaway was that Kevin will have a very limited amount of time to provide an overview presentation of the work of our commission thus far. And that will include mentioning what committees we have struck and the issues that the committee has entertained thus far. And we are not meant to be asking the public that's attending what things they're interested in talking about. And so in our, and I'd like Sharon to add her 2 cents into this as well, but in our elections committee, we determined that based on what we heard from Kevin, he wants just a bullet form summary of issues our committees have deliberated and discussed thus far. Not detail about that, because he will just mention those issues, and then we open it up based on just the presentation of those succinct issues for any comment, question, whatever. And yeah, so that's my takeaway. Sharon, did you want to add to that at all? Dick has his hand up as well, sorry.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, all right. I thought, I may have misunderstood, but I thought what Dave was saying was the issues that have gained some traction in the committee, not just the ones we've discussed, but the ones that there seems to be some significant interest in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we're there yet.
And yeah, so in the case of the elections committee, Dick, just for clarification, we're a bit of an anomaly in the sense that we've already kind of worked through the issues that were given to us by the commission. And so we've come to some conclusions already about them. So in that regard, we are an anomaly. We're going to speak to the issues we've already discussed. We're not going to speak to the conclusions we've reached on those issues that we are actually already ready to present to the commission, with the exception of one that just came forward yesterday that Sharon brought forward. And so we are an anomaly in that regard. I can also share, though, that from the Justice and Equity Committee, what I'm proposing to Sharon and Kyle and Kevin, who sit on that committee with me, is that there be 2 issues that are currently under discussion, and sort of ones we are likely to, get some traction on as a committee. Only 2 issues that we would share with this town hall that we're currently deliberating on, and those come from our spreadsheet. They come from the spreadsheet that the entire commission put their voices into, if you will.
Sharon, you have something to add to that?
I was just yawning. Nothing personal.
Okay.
No, that's fine. We're just submitting, yeah, well, like what Jane said, just bullet points. Jane, I added one bullet point, something that Tony brought up, but that's it. I will send that to Kevin, and I'll send it to you so you have the very slightly updated version of that.
Sure.
Yeah, just keeping it really brief, and then if people want more information, they can ask. But we want to get through it really quick so that we can get into what the community wants to talk about.
So Dave, from my perspective, and I could be wrong, the only thing we've kind of gotten through so far is we've discussed further defining the relationship between the county manager and the county council duties and responsibilities therein. It seems like we haven't gotten to, we'll be discussing other things tonight. I assume we're going to go through some of the list.
Yeah.
But so far, that's the only thing that I think other than, and I don't know if we want to announce that we voted 5-2-1 not to recommend expanding the county council size. I don't know if that's something we want to, since we haven't really discussed it as a full commission, but it seems like the only thing that we've discussed so far is just talking about the responsibilities of the county manager in relation to
Right.
the county
In the
council.
elections committee, we decided not to get into what we decided we would recommend because we haven't had the opportunity to bring it to the full CRC yet.
Mhm.
Okay. I think it was this committee that we talked about, or was it the commission in general? We talked about, this is going to be very much a listening thing. We are definitely interested to hear what people have to say and what's on their mind as well. And I think, are these questions supposed to be, we'll certainly want answers to them or get some feedback from them, but do we want them, are we assuming people are going to stay on these questions? Do we want to, should our questions that we ask be specific to ideas like Tony's, or should they be more in terms of like Tony's question or issue? Should they be, what do you see as the relationship between the executive and the legislative branch, or what should that relationship be? Should they be specific questions, or they should be general questions?
So sorry, yeah, Dave, just to clarify again, by asking questions of the public in this manner, you're prompting responses to questions, you're planting questions to the public. That's not the intention of the town hall in terms of the specific work of either our committees or our commissions, from my understanding. This is not, and I do recall us discussing this in previous commission meetings. We're not having this meeting to basically say, this is the spreadsheet of issues, and here they all are from each of our committees, and this is what we're working through. That's publicly available information. But for Kevin Ranker as our chair, to start asking about how the public that is sitting in this town hall feels about these issues, that precludes the opportunity for the public to put forward issues that we haven't thought of yet. And it orients the discussion in a manner that influences the minds of the public, and that's not appropriate. So that is not what this is about. This is about listening to the public and based on their own self-exploration of what this commission is doing and our sharing of information about the purpose of our formation, et cetera. So anyway, I feel pretty strongly about that. Yeah. And I say that based on a lot of multi-stakeholder conversations I've done in my work. So yeah, it looks like Olivia wants to weigh in.
Is that just a thumbs up, Olivia, or do you want to weigh in?
No, I completely agree with Jane. I, just for the record, do not agree with us presenting any information at the town hall, period. I think that if we are going to really hear out the public, we need to let them have the time to talk and let them do the research beforehand, because it is readily available and easy to access. And the powers of persuasion are very
suggestive.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
absolutely.
and can really take over an entire town hall. So just for the record, if there is a massive presentation in at the town halls, I don't agree with it as
So-
vice chair.
So, Jane, can you give an example? So maybe this will set the tone. Give an example of the bullet points you're sending forward from elections and justice.
Sharon, and then Dick had his hand up
Yeah,
as well.
Rich,
So
yeah.
Sharon can just, she can snapshot the points and include the title, right, Sharon? So just, you could even do share a screen, if you opened it up. And that might be an idea. If you just, and please, you guys, at what, I think, Sharon, what my take is that we as committees, we put this to Kevin and Olivia as our chair and vice chair, and we have to defer to them to decide based on our discussions how best to present this. And I'm happy to do that because I respect what Olivia just said. And we didn't get really into that level of detail as a commission. So Sharon, why don't you just share with that, and then see, that might help us think about what do we want to put out there. And then we need to defer, I think, to our vice chair and chair as to what they want to speak to.
So you want me to
And
share?
Dick maybe has a
Yeah, real quick, Richard has his hand up, so can we have him say what he?
Yeah.
say first? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Richard,
just-
for waiting.
My distinct recollection of what Kevin said is as part of his introductory statements, he just wanted to highlight or indicate to the public a few of the things that we are already considering. And I
Right.
think it's just kind of food for thought. So he's not going to
Yeah.
go through the whole list.
right.
And so
Right.
what I heard him asking was, are there a couple of things from each committee that are the
Yes.
ones that we would want to highlight? But he's not going to do a long presentation and talk about them in any detail.
No, right,
No.
yeah, that's my sense of it too. Okay, Sharon, you have,
Do you want to just share that list and then, I don't know, and then, yeah, Dave, take it from there.
okay. Is it a read or is she gonna email?
So I should be able to share my screen, and I'm bringing up the points for the elections committee. Right? Okay, hang on a second.
David,
Okay,
Dave, is she able to share her screen or?
I'm not sure.
we're gonna
Is it-
find out. We're gonna find out right now. Let's see. I think this is it.
Share screen's on the bottom there, right?
I just want to make
think
sure I
you
was.
can- I don't
There
think
you
you can. Oh, you did. Okay.
I-
Aha!
I'm wrong.
That's it. There's the whole thing.
Right. Is that something like that we'd like to present, or do we want something even more thematic in general, not so specific? Any,
That's what we need to decide, I guess.
any thoughts about that in general?
Yeah, thoughts about that?
I mean, we could
Yeah.
just mention themes that we were talking about, not even put questions in general. They just want to hear about these subject that people have. But Olivia raised her hand to speak, or is that to affirm something?
Yeah. I'm on my cell phone, so these are tiny little letters. The only thing that I could suggest is referencing within the charter where the changes would be. Like which section. That would be the only thing that I would suggest from this list of where specifically we would be, the areas at least that we would be making some suggestions for change.
Yeah, just a follow-on clarification, Dave, on that is I thought about that, Olivia. And I think what's a bit problematic about that in terms of how we've already worked through these issues is that we're not elaborating that deeply here on these points. And one of them, which is number 3, which is rather procedural, doesn't speak, the charter doesn't speak to procedures for observation of county elections. That issue came up in our committee based on, and I think the commission as well, it came up from Tom Starr. So, you know, these are not issues that are representative making an amendment to the charter per se. To Dick's point, these are issues that are of discussion in our committee. So that's why I don't think I think it could be, I thought about putting some charter article and clause references in there, but I was concerned about if you do that for one and not do it for all, that's problematic in terms of, but again, this is to share with Kevin and yourself, not to be shared with the public. In terms of clauses, it said, Dick, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, good. Okay. Okay, so should we just make a list right now of statements of things we would be thinking of, we have been looking at, and maybe we'll think about and we'll be looking at in the future? Maybe should we pick 4 issues that we have talked about in the past and we're going to be talking about in the future? Does that sound like a good plan to go forward? Janet.
Well, I was just going to condense kind of this list again. If we were going to pick 3 things, this is really condensing it down to sort of the 30,000 foot level, not the detail that's on this spreadsheet. Again, it's looking at the relationship between the manager and the county council is one thing we're looking at. We're looking at local control in terms of governance. We're examining boards within the county and how they serve the public and the council in the best possible way. Those are 3 things that we're looking at.
I like that.
And there's some detailing things here too. I mean, I was just looking at kind of the bigger items that we're looking at.
Would you like me to unshare my screen now and
so we can see
please.
each other? We can become bigger faces.
I like, okay, Richard, Dick.
I was just gonna say, I like that, Janet. I think that's more along the lines of what Kevin was looking for. And I think that's a nice condensing of the issues.
Yeah. Olivia, that's that's a thumbs up. I hear your hands up as a thumbs or a question wanting to ask something. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good consensus. I don't know. What did you say about boards serving the county council or boards?
How they serve the public and the county council. You know,
Okay.
both. It's both ways. I mean, because really the boards are there to help serve the council, but to serve the public as well.
Yeah. I like that. Can we get should we vote on that, or should we just get some consensus here that's how we want to move forward?
And I think the other thing is those are broad enough that it does sort of give the possibility of exploration of further thought to people about, so tell me more about boards. Here's my, my relationship with boards and how they work or don't work. And here's what maybe you should think about in terms of boards or the county manager.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be helpful just to
Well,
get
let's just ask, does anyone object to that?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, not that I do. Just wondering if we could get that wording again, Janet, that would be helpful, because.
I'm going to put it in chat.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you, Janet.
Yeah, the only thing, because the one thing I was going to say about the boards is how they serve the public and the county council. Boards also serve the county government. I mean, the council is a part of it. They also serve departments of the government.
So maybe the county government instead.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you need to broaden that a little
Okay.
bit. They serve a lot, right? Okay, so let's see. Relationship between, yeah.
Would you say the function of boards? And so not how they serve or what they serve, just the general function of boards? Is that?
Okay. And local control, can you articulate that a little bit more?
I think that's looking at, and we may should, I don't know where we're going to go tonight, but that's the Each Island Incorporation and the expansion to the freeholders, the islands category that's here.
I think local government for islands is the more
Okay.
appropriate. yeah, I mean, there's questions about incorporation, the ability to incorporate, but I think local island governance is more
Okay.
appropriate name for that. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Oops.
Okay. Are we all there? Or do we have them all there? All three?
Okay, so local island governance. So I look at that one and I can't agree with that one, because I can't agree that we've discussed it enough to even know
Okay.
what we're talking about. And I have big red flags about it, not least because we've already received a legal opinion on the matter. On the matter that we have not even been able to fully even clarify amongst ourselves as a committee what we're talking about here. So yeah, okay, Dick. I'll be quiet.
Dick, are you, Jane, Jane, are you done yet? Are you done
I'm
with it?
done. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just putting some stakes in the ground there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Jane, I wasn't trying to interrupt you. I just wanted to raise my hand so I
Okay.
could speak.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it speaks to the point that I made in my email that I shared with all of you, which is I felt on reading Randy Gaylord's legal opinion on that matter that was put to him prior to us sort of agreeing on the notion of what incorporating governance in the islands actually meant and whatnot. I felt that legal opinion made things rather clear. We haven't had a chance to discuss that as a committee. And so I think that we need to be very mindful of putting in, particularly for this group, also for the Justice and Equity group, and to go again back to Dick's point, that putting forward in our presentation of a couple of points, issues that are gaining traction. I would say for this issue, A, we haven't gained traction on this as a committee, and B, we just had some serious metal rods put in the track on this issue in the legal opinion we got from Randy Gaylord. So for me, this speaks a bit to Olivia's point as you are prompting considerations in the minds of the public that well, for me, concern me on this point. I'll be quiet. Thank you for letting me.
Can I?
Do you have is it a point of, Richard had his hand up, but is it something like a specific question for Jane?
No.
Okay, Richard. Oh, you're frozen again.
No,
Sorry.
it's my own comment. What I would say, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as you can hear me, I don't care if I'm frozen.
You know, you might take your
Can you
video
hear me?
off. You're going to have more
Okay.
bandwidth if you take the
So
video off.
Yeah. But then you won't be able to see me raise my hand.
Oh, you can still do that.
Oh, come on.
There you go.
Okay. So yes, I know. My feeling on this is stronger than Jane's. Randy's opinion is very clear, I think. We cannot incorporate each island, and without that, we cannot have local self-governance, because that would violate state law. You cannot create some form of self-governance that is not either incorporation as a municipality or incorporation as a county. And Randy says under state law, we can't incorporate each island. To even raise that, to my mind, is to seriously mislead the public. And my reaction to Randy's opinion is that issue is dead.
Janet and Olivia, do you have a question, or you have a question up?
It was a response to Jane's comment. So I feel like there were a couple commissioners who didn't understand the background of how that topic got to Randy Gaylord. Kevin himself sent it to him specifically in an email chain before everyone was incorporated in the email chain as a full commission.
Okay. Yeah. Janet.
Okay, I'm just gonna, in terms of organizing this, can we just make a final decision on the points we want to present at the town hall and then move on to a discussion about the governance? It seems like we have consensus on the function of boards and how they best serve the public and county government. And we're looking at the relationship between the county manager and the council. And that seems like 2 points we can, if there's anything else.
Well, I think Sharon, did you have your
Yeah.
hand up?
No.
Jane did.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Janet, to your question, I think we're trying to figure out what is the 3 things
Okay.
that we're going to be talking about. I mean, we're not, I don't think we're discussing local government right now. Particularly, we're discussing whether or not it's going to be a question that we are going to be addressing as a committee. And I think we want to make sure that that's what we are discussing. What is the 3 questions or themes that we're going to be looking at as a council? Because I think, Jane, what would you like to say?
No, I was just going to say, at the risk of putting, bright fluorescent paint on the elephant in the room, we have actually discussed the issue of the number of counselors, county counselors. And as a committee, we decided not to put something forward to the commission on that. I think in the absence of David Dellendorf being here and Tony being here, I'm concerned that they would be bothered by the fact that we say nothing about the fact that that has even come up. Now, I defer to others of you on this point, but I'm a little worried that their voices aren't represented here in this regard. So I'm just going to leave that there because I already voted on a motion last week on that. Yeah.
Okay, can you say that again? They would be upset that the notion that didn't even come up. They would want that discussed, you're saying?
No, I'm simply saying that that is a topic that we kind of pushed off the table as one that this committee wants to further discuss by virtue of our motion. It was something that came up in the broader commission when we developed the worksheet and spreadsheet, and it was something that then was brought to our governance committee, and it was something that we deliberated on rather expediently and voted on. And so I think we would be not being very transparent about that if we didn't say something about it, but that is just my view. And I'm just saying that because it's a hot topic, as we all know. And I can know, having met now Tony and David a bit over the course of the past 2 months or 6 weeks, I'm wishing their voices were here to speak to this. So we have a bit of a dilemma in that regard. But I defer to the rest of our group here.
Okay.
What if,
Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, what if we include, because ultimately Olivia and Kevin are gonna make a decision on which points are brought to the town hall anyhow. So we could put that as our 3rd point and then really leave the final decision to them, whether this is something that should be discussed or not discussed.
Richard.
Let me turn my video off.
We miss you.
I have 2 reactions to that. I think we're making way too big an issue of this and taking too much time. Let's just do the 2 issues. The other thing is, when I've missed a meeting of one of my committees, I don't think we need to defer to people who aren't here. When you miss a meeting, that's what happens. The people who are here have to make decisions. I'm sorry, Jane, but I think we just need to do it.
Okay. Jane, you're agreeing with that. Yeah, you're agreeing with that. Yeah. I am fairly passionate about encouraging the right for islands to have self-government. The questions that were put to Randy were about incorporation and the use of the city-county process. That was very specific questions, and those are the questions he answered. I think that there is still opportunity for the islands to gain local government, if not through incorporation. I think that's a discussion we could have and we could find out. It's been published in the newspaper that this is an issue that will be discussed at the town hall meetings. And I think I think it's a very important issue, and to shut it off here as a theme that we're not going to even discuss for our agenda, I think that is very wrong, and it's very it's not giving people the opportunity to have their say about it. I think it should be one of the themes or that we should put forward to the council. Now, Randy's position is out there, and it is there public to be discussed, and is a factor of the discussion. So I'm pretty passionate about that. We continue to have that as our thing. I'll be honest, I didn't originally sign up to be in this committee. They put this issue on this committee, and I thought that was part of my reason to be here, was to help move this issue forward. And I feel like there is still a lot of opportunity for this idea to go forward, and it does fit our county. Islands are in very natural, common sense way to organize a county government, and for us not to even acknowledge that. I think that's just a great miss. And I think that the issue of the nature of districts, maybe not the 3 to 5, whether we should have 3 or 5 districts, representatives or council people, but the nature of residency districts. How do they work? Do people realize that the relationship to the charter for people in the 3rd district is different than it is in the 1st district because of how the population is different in those? I think some kind of question has to be asked about residency districts, because that's why the charter was originally proposed. It's how when the charter was written, it was the most dramatic thing of the change to the county. And it's what the second charter commission did to change. And so we had charter of 6, and we cut it the legislative branch in half to 3. I mean, for us not to say that should not be looked at all as a town hall meeting, I think that's reckless. I think it needs to be heard. And I respect that we don't want to talk about it here. And I struggle respecting it, but I feel like it really needs to be heard, and that is something that the commission is open to hearing about. So I'm pretty passionate that those 2 other issues, the local governance and the residency districts, are 2 things that the governance committee of the home rule charter should be listening to, or should at least encourage to have listened to it at a town meeting. Olivia.
Thank you, Dave. I also agree that if we ignore this specific topic, we are not keeping an open mind to all topics that are being brought up. If we're going to have equal treatment for all topics that are going to be discussed, this is something that we should, and make sure that we talk about. It's going to be something that's brought up at the town hall, because it's not just us as commissioners who are talking about it. It's our residents here. There are a lot of people that talk to me about this specific issue, and it's going to get brought up, period. So, I mean, we can turn a blind eye to it and pretend like we're not talking about it here, but we've just spent the last 15 minutes discussing it. So if we're more prepared for that part of it, then it's better to acknowledge it than ignore.
Richard.
My response to that is, then let's let the public bring it up.
Well, I think we should have it given. We should give it to Kevin. Oh, Jane, do you have your hand up to speak or just affirm?
I have my hand up to speak.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm hearing both you and Olivia on this point. I think we are all passionate about different points. I maintain my point that we are putting to Kevin and Olivia issues we have started to discuss. And I appreciate you're passionate about something that I kind of get an idea for, Dave. But you talk about local governance by district, and you are representing San Juan Island. I represent and San Juan Island and other islands in that district. I represent Lopez. Okay, so to my district, you're the big dude. Okay, no,
Okay,
no, no,
well,
let's be
no,
okay. So and this island and the islands that are part of this district have been mapped out by a process that took place 10 years ago that I must say I need more familiarity with to start opening up the discussion. I put my cards on the table in a previous commission meeting. And with all due respect, everybody, to the fact that we're taking a lot of time to talk about this in this meeting, this is damn important because we are, as a governance committee, we are putting some cards on the table tomorrow in this town hall. And so I'm just going to say that I put my cards on the table in a commission meeting where I said, sure, anything discussed in the 2012 deliberations can be revisited. To your point, Dave, I'm not opposing that. We as committees are meant to deliberate issues that are on this spreadsheet that can include precisely the matter you're talking about. But guess what? We haven't had enough time to go over these issues. And so I don't think it's appropriate for us to be putting on the table issues that we haven't yet deliberated over in any kind of way to even know what we're talking about. Okay, I think that's not appropriate. I think we need to leave the table a little more blank. And
Jane, I'm going to cut you off for a moment.
okay,
You're really starting to have a tone that is not going to put this group positive and moving forward. So I would like you to take a breath. I understand that you're passionate, but we need to work together as a team. So I'm just going to say that you need to calm down. I hear what you're trying to say, but it's deconstructive than constructive. So I hope that you don't get offended by me cutting you off, but we need to come to a point of order moving forward.
oh, okay. Sharon?
Okay, I appreciate what everybody's saying, and I just want everybody to feel safe in this group. I don't know exactly what that means, but for us all to feel that emotionally safe, that we're being heard. And that's why, I may have an opinion on whether I think there should be local governance on the individual islands, but I think if somebody is really feeling that something is incomplete and not heard, that we should continue having a discussion. And since we have discussed it, I really don't see the harm with mentioning that we've talked about it. Does that make some people feel unsafe though? Because if so, I want to know, what's going on.
Okay. What last week it was mentioned that this is a hot topic, and clearly it is a very hot topic, and it was a hot topic last time, I've heard, and it is a hot topic clearly again here. And I was hoping that and not this time, not this commission meeting, maybe 2 meetings in forward, we could do some writing and do something to work together to cool this issue down, because I feel like I think we have a duty to understand how our government works and help others understand how their government is working. And the residency districts are a kind of an irrational compromise. They're not as natural or straightforwardly thought out as other districts are, and they're unique. There's a lot of beauty to them. There's a lot of sublime beauty to them, and the San Juan Island has a different relationship to the county charter or to the county council than the 3rd district does, and the 2nd district does, and understanding that. I'm not necessarily encouraging any kind of change to it, but I think at least people need to understand the difference and how that residency district was structured. I mean, one of the questions that was put forward is we should just change the name residency districts in the charter to legislative districts, because it's, doesn't no big difference. That's not true. I think there is a real specific difference between residency districts and legislative districts. And I think we need to be able to explain that to people, and maybe in our writings, have that a part of what is being explained of how our government works. And so I would love us to find a way to cool this down. And I think I love Jane's passion, and I'm thankful for it. I really am. And I don't know, I hope we can explore this more in the future, not tonight. Sharon.
I think it would be good to have a discussion. I'm not saying right now, but to have a discussion about why it's such a hot topic. What are the issues around it? What are the conflicts around it? Why did it become such a hot topic for people who maybe haven't been around so long or weren't part of the CRC 10 years ago?
Okay. Yeah. So there are, I would look at the way what I would look at where we're at right now is there are 4 issues that are being discussed that we're going to put forward to be discussed at the town hall. There's the relationship between county manager and council, local control, and then a function. Oh, no, let's do this again. Relationship between county council and county and manager, function of boards and how they serve the public in the county government. And then there's 2 other ones: local control, local island control of governance, and then the nature of residency districts. Is that those 4 issues? Are those the 4 things we're discussing right now? I think we have consensus on the relationship between manager and council. And I think we have consensus that the function of boards and how they best serve the public and county government. Is that true? We have consensus on those 2 that we want to move forward with?
Yes.
Okay. Where we're getting a little hot and are concerned about is local governance, local island governance, and the nature of residency districts. Is that what we're finding is could be contentious?
It seems that way.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we just go ahead and do you feel like we've discussed this enough and we should just maybe vote on whether or not to talk about this? Put this forward to Kevin, or should we? Is that just stupid and banal? I mean, I think we're talking about what the future, how we're approaching as a committee, and I think that these are issues that are worth talking about in the future, and I'd like to keep some minds open and allow people to inspire people to think about some things.
Yeah, because I don't think we've gotten into the details of it all. What are the implications of what do those mean? What would the differences be in how life is in San Juan County right now?
Right.
If those things were to change. So, those are the substantive discussions we have not had.
Yeah.
Jane has her hand up.
Oh, Jane. Jane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the issue of residency districts, it's not my recollection that this was an issue that came up in the broader commission for discussion that made it on our list of issues in the governance committee spreadsheet of issues. I could be wrong, but I'm referring to the spreadsheet and I don't see that residency district issue as having come up. I will leave my comments at that. Thank you.
Okay. Well, in terms of the naming of the districts, I believe it was Paul Dossett who brought that up, but we can move on from
And
there.
I remember having a discussion about it, but I thought it had come up in the elections committee.
Could have been.
I remember having a discussion because we were specifically saying, well, if we change the name of, residency districts to legislative districts, it would be confusing because we live in the 40th legislative district. And it would be confusing as to what is a legislative district you got the county level and then you got the state level. I remember distinctly having that discussion. So it happened somewhere.
It's a different idea of whatever legislative district is.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Just to say that is an issue that our elections committee has already deliberated over, and we will be presenting a decision on. And we've not yet had the opportunity to do that. It was not brought up, as so far as I recall, in our broader commission along the lines of what you're suggesting, Dave. I could be incorrect. If I am, I apologize.
No, that's good. So, I would entertain a motion to put forward these 4 issues that we have been considering and we haven't considered formally, but we have certainly considered it to some degree tonight, and leave it to the discretion of the chair and the vice chair to put them forward to the town hall meeting. I will entertain a vote on that.
I'm kind of with Jane on I sort of understand, we still haven't talked about the local island control issue. That's something that we will be discussing. That's something that's coming up. So that's something that we will be discussing. Where it goes, I don't know. It could die the minute we have a discussion, but we haven't had a discussion about it. The manager and council thing, totally agree. Boards, totally agree. And the nature of residency districts, I don't even think that's on, it's not even on our list. So I'm kind of, if I were going to do 3 points and say, these are things that we are considering, not we have considered, that we may be considering, I have no problem with that. But the nature of residency districts, I don't see that one.
I was trying to make or kind of coin the nature of residency districts along with the number of 3 to 5 in terms of how many, what's the nature of our districts in general. But I was thinking residency districts is a more general idea than just how many is appropriate for council.
So can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
We did vote on that last time. We did had a discussion that we were not in favor of it. That is something that we will bring back to the entire CRC. But in terms of us, I think that's not something we're looking at now. We've sort of made a decision on that and moved on. Now, if Kevin wants to add that to his list as a general thing for the CRC, I think that's in his purview to do that. But that, I feel like that's something we voted on already.
Right, that is, yeah. Yeah.
So the 3 things I think we could definitely pass those on to Kevin and Olivia to figure out how they want to manage it and discuss it. Those are the 3 things that we're looking at going forward.
The relationship between manager and council, the function of boards, and local island governance. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to vote on those 3 and support those going forward to our interests hearing from the town hall meetings.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Have we discussed it already? A little bit. Yeah. Okay. Olivia, are you
I think she's gone.
okay? All those in favor of putting this forward to the town halls, to Kevin and Olivia for the town halls?
And I think being clear, we're giving this to Kevin and Olivia, and they may shoot all of them down. It's within their purview to figure out how they want to present that. We're not mandating that they bring
No.
this before.
No, right, yeah.
Right. This is what we're proposing to just, mention briefly in our very quick little, what has your committee been working on?
Or not
Yeah.
at all.
Or not at all.
Right, yeah. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. And I don't know, Jane, or all those,
She's opposed. So
you're opposed, okay. And, okay, no abstentions, okay. So that is 3 in favor, 2 opposed, for sending those 3 forward to the town hall. Janet, can you get that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That was hard. I know that's it seems silly that we took so long to figure this out, what to send forward, but I think we're really trying to see how we're going to proceed. I mean, these are proposals to drop big issues that we're supposed to look at, and I feel it's important that we get feedback from the town halls and how we should proceed on these issues. Jane.
Yes, thank you, Dave. It's really more a point of order, and that is that I think we all have passion about what we are doing here as representing our districts as commissioners, and that's why we are commissioners. And I am not here to fight for District 3. I'm here to do what I can to inform myself about the best charter we can create for the next 10 plus years of this county. All right. And what I am taking issue with, I'm sorry, I have to go on record with this, is the manner in which this committee is being chaired. And that is what I take issue with in terms of the order, relative to the manner in which other committees I am participating on are being chaired and managed. And I do not appreciate the way that issues are being put forward for us to deliberate upon. That is my final comment for the evening. And I thank you for the discussion tonight. My passion stems from feeling that we are all in a position to be heard and find consensus to move forward. I do take deep exception to Olivia's treatment of me tonight in this meeting, because I felt put in that position by the way this meeting was being chaired. With all due respect, thank you very much.
Jane, can I say something to you?
Yes, thank you.
One of the things I've been studying for several years now is communication. And I have to say, when somebody says to you, you need to relax, that's the last thing I am capable of doing. So your point is well taken. I think Olivia was, I'm going to guess she was feeling anxious or worried, and she was trying to calm down the situation without really knowing how to do that. So I'm just noticing, if we can learn kind of language that is more helpful than not helpful, I just know when she said that, I wanted to say something. You need to relax is not the thing. Let's take a breath. Let's all take a breath. That could be helpful. You need to relax, not very helpful. So I just want to say, I care about everybody, and I know you do too. We all care about everybody on this committee and the county as a whole and our districts, and that I just want to make sure everybody feels heard. And sometimes that's messy, and sometimes it takes more time. And I think it's okay to take more time, no matter what my opinion is on a particular issue. Sometimes I just want to make sure everybody feels heard, and even if we don't all agree, I think there are ways of doing that.
Yeah. Jane, I'm sorry that that this has played out as it has. I probably should have limited the comments that Olivia was making. I think that they probably were somewhat unfair. I mean, telling someone to calm down never works. Sharon's totally right about that. And my wife tells me that all the time. And I would I really appreciate your contribution to this committee. I really do. I love your passion, and I love that your point of view. And I really do cherish it. I think that we have these are hot issues. They really are, and it's exciting that way. And I'd love us to see us really find a way to bring these issues to the commission, the fuller commission, with a sense that we have worked through them and they work for all the islands and all of the commissioners. I've never questioned, and I don't think I doubt anybody here has questioned your commitment to San Juan County. And I think we're all committed to San Juan County and not our individual islands or individual districts. So having said that, Jane, I would like to hopefully we can talk or write offline and discuss any kind of issues that you might have with my style of leadership. But Jane as well. I hope that this committee can work work better for you in the future. Jane, you had your hand up again. Are you have something to you'd like to say something? Okay. Well, I think we found 3 issues that we're going to go forward to Kevin. I will write those. I will take those, or actually, Janet, can you send forward those to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And I will, with that, thank you for meeting tonight. I know this is contentious. One issue I'm concerned about with these meetings is that they are late and that we're all tired, and this is not the best time for anybody to be meeting. Major catastrophes happen under exhaustion in the history of the world. So I don't want to have to reschedule or find another time. That doesn't seem like the best thing to do, but it might be something we should consider, because everybody seems really tired on these nights. So I will leave it at that. And with that, I will entertain motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Or a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Take care. Leave meeting.